I've been joined by the CEO and founder of Acusensus, Jannink, who's over from Australia for the week, talking about the product here in Europe. And Alex, I mean, first of all, just explain what the Acusensus heads-up product does and why it's so important.
Thanks, Paul. The heads-up product from Acusensus is a mobile phone enforcement and seatbelt enforcement and speed and average speed enforcement solution. It's been deployed across a number of continents in the world. Acusensus developed the world's first mobile phone enforcement camera program that was in New South Wales, Australia, and that started at the end of 2019. And so we were really the pioneers in this space. We then also supplied the world's first seatbelt enforcement camera program, also in Australia. That was in Queensland, Australia. And then since then, we've been rounding out the solution so that from one camera deployment, one heads-up asset, you can enforce the distracted driving, seatbelt, and speed, and also average speed. And we're working on a number of other capabilities and functionalities as well. Because ultimately our goal is to try and address as many of the fatal 5 driver behaviours as we possibly can. So the heads-up solution will address 3 out of the fatal 5, and then we're working on the remaining 2, which is fatigue and drugs and alcohol, and whether we can enhance the solution to detect those. So maybe next time we come to Intertraffic, we can talk all about addressing all 5.
What inspired you to set up the company?
Well, there are a couple of reasons that the company was founded. There's a personal reason for me. So my friend James was run over and killed in 2013 by somebody who was using the phone and was intoxicated. And so that sort of really set me on the path of wanting to do something about this in particular. And by 2015, 2016, you could start seeing in the road fatality trends an uptick in developed world nations. And that's after decades of declines. And so from there you think, well, why are road fatalities increasing? They should be decreasing. Cars are better, infrastructure is better, but driver behaviour is not better. Driver behaviour has been worsening. And so then from that, started the company, found people who are brave enough to invest in it and fund the development. There's been quite a lot of development and research and development effort that's gone into it.
And what's been the effect on driver behaviour where the technology has been installed in a widespread way?
Yeah, there's been some really fantastic changes in driver behaviour actually. So if we look at the first 2 programs in the world, so New South Wales, Australia, enforcing mobile phone use, the rate of people using their mobile phones has declined by an order of magnitude. So we're now at about a 10 times reduction in the number of people caught using a phone across the road network. And then that coincided in the first 2 years with a 20% reduction in road fatalities as well, at a time when the rest of Australia, which should be comparable, went up. The rest of Australia went up by 8%. In Queensland, we've been operating mobile phone seatbelt enforcement for the last 2 years, 9 months, and then speed enforcement for the last almost 1 year. And in Queensland, since our programs have started, road fatalities there have dropped by about 10%, while the rest of Australia, unfortunately, has gone up by 11%, so about a 21% difference. And what's different in Queensland and New South Wales is obviously active enforcement against particularly mobile phone use, which is really a significant contributor to trauma.
And your colleague Jeff Collins, who heads up your, so pardon the pun, heads up your organisation in the UK, he'll always talk about the fact that automated enforcement is not part of a war on drivers, as some newspapers used to have it. It's a war on bad driving that everyone should get behind and fight alongside. Do you find that the driving public actually welcome and support the use of this sort of technology?
Yeah, well, the reality is that enforcement is actually one of the most effective educational tools that we have. It is one of the ways that you're most likely to change somebody's behaviour. And what we find with the mobile phone enforcement programs is that they are very well regarded by the public. They actually have very widespread public support across the jurisdictions we enforce in. We typically see in the 80% positive support for automated enforcement of mobile phone use. And seatbelt enforcement, again, 99% of people in Australia or the UK are wearing a seatbelt. So they don't understand the problem. It's only the 1% who are not wearing it that can sort of generate complaints effectively. The area that still needs work from public acceptance is speeding. There is still this perception in a number of countries that it is okay to speed, but every 1% increase in speed is a 4% increase in crash risk. And you just keep compounding that. And so if you can get everybody to drive a bit slower, you will absolutely reduce deaths and injuries.
So you can look at yourself in the mirror every day, Alex, and think, I'm making a difference here, and be proud of yourself. Congratulations on your award 2 years ago, your growth into Europe in the last 2 years, and looking forward to you getting all of the Fatal 5 within 2 years, and we can talk about it then.